There are two motives for reading a book. One, that you enjoy it. The other, that you can boast about it. Do not fear to be eccentric in opinion, for every opinion now accepted was once eccentric. Of all forms of caution, caution in love is perhaps the most fatal to true happiness. The fundamental cause of the trouble is that in the modern world the stupid are coxer while the intelligent are full of doubt. To fear love is to fear life, and those who fear life are already 3 parts dead. I would never die for my beliefs because I might be wrong. And if there were a God, I think it very unlikely that he would have such an uneasy vanity as to be offended by those who doubt his existence. In all affairs, it's a healthy thing now and then to hang a question mark on the things you have long taken for granted. One of the symptoms of an approaching nervous breakdown is the belief that one's work is terribly important. Fear is the main source of superstition and one of the main sources of cruelty. To conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom. The hardest thing to learn in life is which bridge to cross and which to burn. It's easy to fall in love. The hard part is finding someone to catch you. Most people would sooner die than think. In fact, they do so. It is the preoccupation with possessions, more than anything else, that prevents us from living freely and nobly. Collective fear stimulates herd instinct and tends to produce ferocity toward those who are not regarded as members of the herd. We know very little, and yet it is astonishing that we know so much, and still more astonishing that so little knowledge can give us so much power. No one gossips about other people's secret virtues. It has been said that man is a rational animal. All my life I have been searching for evidence which could support this. The secret of happiness is to face the fact that the world is horrible, horrible, horrible. Patriots always talk of dying for their country, but never of killing for their country. Neither a man nor a crowd nor a nation can be trusted to act humanely or to think sanely under the influence of a great fear. So far as I can remember, there is not one word in the Gospels in praise of intelligence. Not to be absolutely certain is, I think, one of the essential things in rationality. The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, and wiser people so full of doubts. Everything is vague to a degree you do not realize till you have tried to make it precise. The greatest challenge to any thinker is stating the problem in a way that will allow solution. The good life is inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Anything you are good at contributes to happiness. To be without some of the things you want is an indispensable part of happiness. Scene is geographical. Science is what you know. Philosophy is what you don't know. What is wanted is not the will to believe, but the will to find out, which is the exact opposite. Remember your humanity and forget the rest. Dogmatism is the greatest of mental obstacles to human happiness. Life is nothing but a competition to be the criminal rather than the victim. Man is a credulous animal and must believe something. In the absence of good grounds for belief, he will be satisfied with bad ones. To like many people spontaneously and without effort is perhaps the greatest of all sources of personal happiness. Your writing is never as good as you hoped, but never as bad as you feared. A happy life must be to a great extent a quiet life, for it is only in an atmosphere of quiet that true joy can live. Is there any knowledge in the world which is so certain that no reasonable man could doubt it? Conventional people are roused to fury by departure from convention, largely because they regard such departure as a criticism of themselves. How much longer is the world willing to endure this spectacle of wanton cruelty? Patriotism is the willingness to kill and be killed for trivial reasons. Boredom is therefore a vital problem for the moralist, since at least half the sins of mankind are caused by the fear of it. I say quite deliberately that the Christian religion, as organized in its churches, has been and still is the principal enemy of moral progress in the world. It is a waste of energy to be angry with a man who behaves badly, just as it is to be angry with a car that won't go. I do not myself feel that any person who is really profoundly humane can believe in everlasting punishment. A sense of duty is useful in work but offensive in personal relations. People wish to be liked, not to be endured with patient resignation. One of the most powerful of all our passions is the desire to be admired and respected. Mathematics, rightly viewed, possesses not only truth but supreme beauty. Whoever wishes to become a philosopher must learn not to be frightened by absurdities. Men who are unhappy, like men who sleep badly, are always proud of the fact. To be able to fill leisure intelligently is the last product of civilization, and at present very few people have reached this level. Science may set limits to knowledge, but should not set limits to imagination. Few people can be happy unless they hate some other person, nation, or creed. No nation was ever so virtuous as each believes itself, and none was ever so wicked as each believes the other. Most of the greatest evils that man has inflicted upon man have come through people feeling quite certain about something which, in fact, was false. Never try to discourage thinking, for you are sure to succeed. We love our habits more than our income, often more than our life. The trouble with the world is that the stupid are coxer and the intelligent are full of doubt. Freedom of opinion can only exist when the government thinks itself secure. The search for something permanent is one of the deepest of the instincts leading men to philosophy. Language serves not only to express thought, but to make possible thoughts which could not exist without it. Belief in God and a future life makes it possible to go through life with less of stoic courage than is needed by skeptics. Politics is largely governed by sententious platitudes which are devoid of truth. A man is rational in proportion as his intelligence informs and controls his desires. There is no nonsense so errant that it cannot be made the creed of the vast majority by adequate governmental action. The demand for certainty is one which is natural to man, but is nevertheless an intellectual vice. All serious innovation is only rendered possible by some accident enabling unpopular persons to survive. Machines deprive us of two things which are certainly important ingredients of human happiness, namely, spontaneity and variety. Stupidity and unconscious bias often work more damage than venality. The only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. The fundamental concept in social science is power, in the same sense in which energy is the fundamental concept in physics. Every man, wherever he goes, is encompassed by a cloud of comforting convictions, which move with him like flies on a summer day. Education is not to be viewed as something like filling a vessel with water, but, rather, assisting a flower to grow in its own way. Do not feel envious of the happiness of those who live in a fool's paradise, for only a fool will think that it is happiness. If an opinion contrary to your own makes you angry, that is a sign that you are subconsciously aware of having no good reason for thinking as you do. It is not my prayer and humility that you cause things to go as you wish, but by acquiring a knowledge of natural laws. Machines have altered our way of life, but not our instincts. Consequently, there is maladjustment. There is an element of the busybody in our conception of virtue. Unless a man makes himself a nuisance to a great many people, we do not think he can be an exceptionally good man.